Okay. I have decided to largely go back to long cycle based training just because, well, I did it the other day, Monday, and with double 24s, right? I had thought with doing the clean and press every other minute combined with the snatch that would keep the conditioning up. And then I did 10 minutes of long cycle with double 24s. I hit 80 reps and I felt like I was gonna die because the long cycle is just that much harder. Every minute on the minute. Yesterday, I did double 18s, but I did sprint sets. So I did as many reps as possible in a minute and then took a minute rest. So I was hitting 16 reps a minute for 20 minutes. And then I bumped it to on the minute. And it was more difficult because of course it was. So my recovery ability is pretty high, so if I get a minute of rest, I'm good to go. But only getting that 20 or so seconds, well then it's not so easy. But anyway, I'm doing long cycle 3 times a week, double, and I'm filling in the gaps with snatches. So I have lost 6 pounds, by the way. So I'm down from 222 to 216. $20 minutes, 8 and 7. So it would be 150 snatches per arm with the 24. So for my cut, I've opted for an aggressive deficit at first. So I've opted for a different strategy because basically for the past 3.5 years, I've been eating whatever the fuck I wanted with a calorie count on average, daily average, of about 5,000 to 6,000. So I'm going as low as 1,800. I'm going as low as 1,800 some days. Today's an 1,800 calorie day because yesterday, or last night, I had some pizza. So it was kind of more of a relaxed, normal day. Now, I regret my decisions because the pizza killed me, but so that is an aggressive deficit, but the reason I'm doing that is because I need to condition my brain, or recondition rather, to not eat whatever the fuck it wants. So I am actually tracking everything that I eat. So it'll be like 1,800, 2,000, 2,200, 2,500. Then I step back down to 1,800. And the cheat day is only about once a month. Now, I'm doing that because, like I said, I need to ingrain it in my head that being hungry is not going to kill you. Because for the past 3.5 years, whenever I got hungry, I would just eat something. And that's because I was trying to get as strong as possible and as big as possible. So I need to relearn how to do intuitive eating. So the eating pattern that pairs best with this for me to also support my intense exercise is a high carb, low fat diet. I simply cannot train like this eating low carb. Can't do it. So, starting in January, I will just kind of normalize my calories between 2,200 and 2,500. That grip is starting to go. So anyway, that's the cutting plan. Like I said, right now I'm a little bloated from the pizza and whatnot. Well, like this shirt here is a triple XL. So, just to kind of give an idea, I don't look like I'm swimming too much in it like I used to. Like I can actually wear this shirt now. I almost dropped that bell. I'm going to switch to an 18 to finish because basically I'm not using these snatch sessions for like maximal conditioning. This is just to train the snatch movement. And I like to use the 24 to help with the power output. The majority of my training energy is focused on the long cycle. Normally, when I focused on long cycle, it was always every other day, and that was all I trained. But I'm wanting to do more just to push myself. So my thought for the secondary days was snatch and then swings, because those are all power. And then this stuff is kind of just extra work. Which is why it's just 20 minutes. Now with the swings, That will still be a 20-minute session, but it'll be 30 seconds intervals. So I'll do 10 reps around, so it'll be 200 swings in 20 minutes, doubles. And then some of the long cycle will be single bell, but non-stop. Because I really want to work up to an hour with a single 20-kilo bell. I've done half hour before, a couple times, with 18s and 20s. And I would like to do an hour. So I think that might be what I end up doing tomorrow. Just practicing that. When it comes to the training, I don't really focus on calories burned. I don't think about it too much. But a session like this, with equivalent weights, you're probably going to burn around 200 calories. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. The reason I moved away from the snatches being the primary is just because the long cycle is better. For conditioning goals and power development, the double long cycle is just better than the single bell snatch. The single bell snatch is great, but if I gotta rank them, long cycle's at the absolute top. And the double half snatch is good, but rep for rep, long cycle's better, but long cycle's also a lot safer. So for me, long cycle really gets the nod over the double half snatch. But single bell snatches, you should definitely do them at least once or twice a week. And you see, even with the lightweight, you know, it'll still get your heart rate up. You may have noticed I'm starting to keep thumb in, and that is going to relieve some of the tension on this part of your forearm, and you should definitely do that if you're doing a lot of cleans or like long cycle and stuff. The way you want to utilize it is on the backswing, thumb in, and then you don't want to corkscrew like I was doing on my right arm there. You want to just let the bell go to neutral and then up, overhead. And that does help keep your forearms feeling a little better. So yeah, those first sets, maximal power development, and then I switched to the 18 when I almost lost the bell on my left hand, and that's fine. Ultimately, these are supplemental sessions. The main thing I'm doing is a long cycle, like I said. So, if you don't want to do it on a timer, you can just do, that's what I should add too. I would be doing gladiator, but I'm really trying to fix that knee. It's getting better, and what I've been doing is what I did for the other one. Squat down and just hold the deep squat, kind of move back and forth, and then try to work it through the range of motion where I feel the pain. Get some ankle flexion too. You don't have to hold the weight either, it doesn't really matter. I use the weight because that's the only way I'm getting down here is to like anchor. Otherwise I can't get into this position. Well, I guess I can. I just have to open up a little bit. And stretching like that is better after a session. Because like the main reason your flexibility is limited, especially if you're already active, is because you're kind of stiff and a little cool. Especially if you're older. You know, I'm 32, but I've kind of beat the shit out of my body. And I'm surprised that I'm able to recover as well as that I do. That's because of all the intense training. But I know people who are just a bit older than me who don't train at all, and they're way worse physically. So you're going to get beat up regardless. But if you train, everyday life is a lot less likely to beat you up, and you'll be able to recover very fast if it does. And keep in mind that I train very intensely to an idiotic level, honestly, that most people don't need to get to at all. But I do it because that's what I enjoy. So you're always just better off exercising. I don't even care what it is. There are things better than others. For me personally, like I said, kettlebell is everything I want. It's conditioning, it's strength, it's power development, and it's strength and power endurance. And that is what I value most. That is what I believe, genuinely believe, is the best all-around way to train for everyday, actual, functional fitness. That's why I don't do fluff kettlebell movements, you know. You'll never see me do a Turkish get-up. I don't really do bent press very often. I don't do the Apollo swings where you turn yourself into one of those pendulums. I don't do that because it's fucking useless, basically. Everything I do is ultra functional in the sense that it mimics movement patterns that you're likely to come across in real life, or it will help you to be stronger in those movement patterns. Obviously, a squat and an overhead press are very functional things that you'll do every day, but a snatch also allows you to move explosively. It's cardio, and then a clean and jerk is just like picking something up off the ground almost and then launching it overhead. Will you ever need to do that in real life? Not necessarily, but those movement patterns performed loaded have a ton of carryover to everything that you will actually do in real life. Unless you're just like an office junkie. Like my job right now is not very physical, but I don't sit around all day. I'm on my feet like 10 to 12 hours a day. There is some mental gymnastics to work through, but it's not a physical job. That's another reason I've opted for a more aggressive calorie deficit at first. I don't have all of the extra day-to-day activities that I used to. So I really don't need to be eating more than 3,000 calories in a day. So most of my physical effort is now solely through training. I mean, I still move around, but it's not like it used to be. So that's why I can go on days where I only eat like 1,500 to 1,800 calories, or like keep it around 2,100 to 2,200. And then eventually I'll just eat around roughly 2,500 calories a day. But an aggressive tracked deficit, for me at least, after 3.5 years of going all in, like what's her face, Stephanie Buttermore, that whole thing. That's kind of what it takes. You really have to be aggressive with it, because if you just say, oh, I'm going to do what I did before, you won't. You'll just, because like the part of intuitive eating is like really kind of, it takes what you have done with your body and over again, and it just kind of like, I can never think straight after these sessions. But basically, intuitive eating is just like, practice what you've been doing, okay? So for the past 3.5 years, my mindset is, oh, I'm kind of hungry, let me eat something. It's like, oh, I want to eat sweets, let me eat sweets. I want a pizza, let me get a pizza. That's been my intuitive eating for the past 3.5 years. It's great if you want to gain weight and get strong as fuck. But if you want to be lean, if you want to lose weight, you can't do it. You have to retrain yourself. You have to retrain your mind and body to be intuitive. After a while of doing it, yes, you can lose weight or maintain a lower body weight eating intuitively. But you have to put in the effort to get to that point. And the reason I was able to do it before was because that was my whole, like, from early teenage years up into adulthood, that was the whole thing that I did. I was very, very disciplined, very focused on my diet. So when I realized that I was gaining weight and getting into the 200s like 5 years ago, I was like, oh, let me put the brakes on this. And I knew how to do it because I wasn't intentionally eating in a way to gain weight. It was mostly subconscious. So once I focused on that, again, I was like, okay, I know what I got to do, and I did. The past 3.5 years has been very intentional. So it's been a bit of work to get it off. But now I'm actually using Chronometer for, good this time. I'm not stressing myself out, being like, oh, I can fit this, and this in it. The mindset is totally shifted on tracking my calories now, back to where it was before. So that's good. Also, I'm learning to like the feeling of hunger again. And that might sound weird, but there is a certain drive you get when you are hungry. And it's a nice focus. Now, yes, if it goes on too long, you just get exhausted and fatigued and you can't think well, which I did encounter last night at work. But that was mostly because I set it up poorly. For me, eating in the morning, not a good idea. I'm never hungry. But I did it yesterday because I did a lot of long cycle and I didn't want my blood sugar to crash. But I would have been better off if I had just potentially risked it crashing, because then I would have eaten in the afternoon, like the early noon, and I would have been fine in the evening. Because generally in the mornings, like even when I was eating whenever I wanted, I was not hungry at all. So you have to learn what works best for your body. For me, it's eating much later in the day, and it really always has been. I've never been big on eating in the morning. Even when I gained weight, I hated eating breakfast, and I would kind of put it off and just eat more in the afternoon and the evening. So that's what works for me. That's the weight loss plan. I'm down 6 pounds, and 2 of that 6 pounds has only been very recently, the past week, that I've been intentionally dropping my calories lower. And the first 4 pounds was just me not eating junk food as much. So now I'm being very intentional, and I'm interested to see where that gets me. And then probably around January, because it takes about a month or two for a habit to really stick, in my experience, to get the pattern down. So by about January, I should be fully back to intuitive eating. And then I see myself by around June being around 185 pounds. Like I can actually visualize it now. So that's probably where I'm going to be. So that's the update. I don't record the videos as much because I just don't care. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But if you watch, thanks for watching. So goodbye.